Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and in this classic review, we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, a real American hero, the Cobra Rattler. And first, let me give a big shout out to Aaron, the toy enhancer. He hooked me up with this quick little story. We were on a live stream, and he was actually cleaning this up. And I didn't have one, and I made a quick little comment, and I joked, and I said, hey, you happen to have an extra one, because I need one. And he said, actually, this one is yours. And I was like, dude, yes, no way. And he's like, yeah, I'm hoping to get it to you before Christmas and your birthday. It's not looking so good right now. And he was just cleaning it up. I don't even know if he was supposed to be on the live stream, or I forget what live stream it was, but he was cleaning it up specifically for me. He said he had some extra ones or shells. He was able to complete it. He knew that I needed one because he said, I saw your tour room and I noticed that you didn't have a Rattler. So big shout out. I definitely appreciate it. Just so you guys know, anyone that's ever sent me anything, it means the world to me, and I don't sell the stuff. I keep it. I'm eventually going to go back, and I'm going to put little cards on everything, so when I do tours, people can see who has gifted me stuff, because it does mean the world to me. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this. It is complete. There's only one thing. He kind of complained. He kind of complained. He's like, I'm sorry, this was broken. Like, are you serious? Like, dude, this thing is an expensive ass thing. It is complete with landing gear. I will not be closing the landing gear. I think I did it right when I first got it. This thing flies with the landing gear open. And do you know why? Because it's not broken. All right? But everything else does work, and we're going to look at everything. So anyway, tell me if you had this awesome A10. Another thing, they house the A10s right by me at Selfridge Air Base, Air National Guard Base. So I see these things flying all the time. Again, this is not an actual A10. The engines are in different spots, but we all know exactly what it was supposed to be. So anyway, did you have this? Tell me a story. Maybe Grandma and Grandma got this for you. Maybe your parents were like, you ain't getting that. But Grandma was like, you know what? I love you. You're my favorite grandchild. I'm going to get it for you. And then you got it, and next thing you know, you got a F-14 Sky Striker, and you got a A-10 Thunderbolt flying next to each other. I don't think they can fly next to each other because one is way faster than the other. Anyway, we're going to take a look at that. There went something. One of the missiles. Anyway, you've stayed this long. You've listened to me ramble on. Please, if you like this, before we get into this, take a second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe classic vehicle. All right, so here's our Rattler. And again, I will not be closing the landing gear, but let's take a look at everything. I have the figures out. Let's look at the top first, and we're going to move the wings so we can kind of see how it looks. So, starting from the top, you got your classic canopy on an A10 Warthog. All right, you can kind of see the way that it's meant to look. It's supposed to look straight through there. So they put a little bit of design here. The canopy does come straight open like that, and it's going to sit, then go down. You got your rear gun, which unfortunately they really should have designed it so it can't shoot directly through your pilot. You don't want to do that, but you just got these dual barrel machine guns. It can completely spin around. Reminded me a lot of the Millennium Falcon. Here you have the canopy, which has a nice little design. Now again, this is broken, but it does have a latch that holds that in place. I'm going to remove that so it doesn't have to keep falling off. You can see the panels that are just kind of lined up. Again, this thing is meant to take damage in the air. All right, so going across here, you have your dual engines that are sitting right here. All right, so you got some a fan going, that's what's sucking it in, and then on the back here, you have your exhaust. All right, here's your rear wings, along with the exhaust here, along with a rubber portion right there. And then you got your top wing right up here. And then the same thing here. So technically this thing has 3 different engines, all right? Now on the engines, this does come off. and you can see the mechanics of it. And I do like this. We actually have an engine manufacturer here in Michigan that we service, and when I walk in there, they have a large engine like this. I don't know if it's this engine. I doubt it is, but they have a large jet engine right there, and this is what I think of every time that I see. So this piece here is just going to lock right down there. On the side here, we'll start off on the front. We got the big giant Gatling gun, and this does have a play feature that you can spin it. Not the easiest to spin, especially not after years, but, and if you don't know, the Gatling gun fires the top, the round comes out of the top barrel. This thing fires so fast that the Gatling gun is spinning, and it's meant to actually cool the barrel so they don't overheat. You got the rubber tip on it to protect you and your sister before you smash it into her, although it has a big gun on the front. Now, this is the A10 Warthog. This is what it is known for. Again, I see them flying around here all the time. All right. You can see the panels and the way everything is. Now, there are two separate panels on this. We have one right here that pops off. And you can see a little bit of the mechanics right there, which I think is actually pretty cool. But the one thing that they were thinking ahead is they gave you one that had bullet holes through it. So this here you can just kind of pop on there. This thing is meant to take damage in the sky. All right, you can watch all kinds of stories about this. So there is one, that thing is meant to take some damage in the sky. And as we go all the way down the side here, again, we can see the different paneling and the way it looks. Then over on this side here, all right, it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, that's for sure. But yeah, I really need to clean that. I believe that is the actual plastic cleaner that you use to clean this off. I just need to get underneath it. So anyway, same thing here. You can see all the different paneling. You can definitely see it with the white sticking out. And then on the back here, and I do apologize, on the back here, we have the same thing. Whoa! I forgot about that big arm here. Is that this piece comes off. And then we can see some more of the mechanics right there. Again, this is something that G.I. Joe was notorious for. They love to show this stuff off. But then we can have the battle damage here. And looking at it, this thing has taken some big fire, probably from, let's say, a Dragonfly, maybe a Sky Striker. I would probably say a Dragonfly more than anything. Sky Striker would have shot this thing right out of there, believe it or not. All right, so there's your design on that. And then we get to the bottom here. Now, I will not be closing the landing gear. I talked about this already. So this one here, you don't really have a problem. This is not the one that's a problem, although I'm not going to do it. This thing starts to loosen because you're literally just using pressure. And they use pressure to keep it. And the fact of the matter is, it ends up breaking. All right? No rubber wheels. At least I don't think these are rubber wheels. You can look at the design on them. They actually tell you what they are. It's a Cobra. It's a VTOL. That is what the wings are, and we'll look at that in a second. A lot of play features on this. The same with on the rear wheels. Now, if you look closely, you can see that light blue. That is from the stress of these things closing. So I will never close this unless I absolutely have to. When I do fly it around, it flies around like this. Sometimes I might close the front here because the rear wheels are kind of hidden by all the missiles, but I still don't really like to because eventually it'll break. And the fact that I now have one without broken landing gear is a small miracle to begin with. On the bottom here, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 missiles. And this thing is ready. This thing is ground support. It is going to wipe out pretty much anything that there is. All right. So I can set it like this. We have 2 racks of these types of bombs. and I believe these are bombs, all right? They might be missiles. Feel free to tell me, but I do believe these are bombs. They just kind of drop off, and they're going to drop straight down. So you're carrying 3 of them on a rack. Maybe you want to drop them all at once because you're attacking, let's say, a USS Flag. You have the ability to. And again, these are dog boned in. You can see the design right there. All right. Throw this right up here. A lot of fun here. We have 4 versions of these missiles. I don't know what they are. Take them off nice and easy. So you have the dog bone there also. You got 4 little wingtips here, 2 wingtips up front, and then 2 on the side. All right, nice looking missile. I have no idea what kind it is. I don't believe it's a Sidewinder, but there's your missile. And they're going to be armed with 4 of them. I can't really see where this is going. These, I believe, are bombs. So once again, the same concept. It's going to drop. It's going to fall straight down. Much bigger bomb. And the reason why I think it's a bomb and not a missile is you have the tip here, but you only have these 4 wings right here. These 4 tips. And they're meant to just kind of drop and guide it to go straight down. Once it hits, I'm going to say maximum damage with something like this here. And then we have this one. This is a missile with a rubber piece on the front. I never understood why they said, hey, let's just put a rubber piece right here on the front. It does come off. I feel like we lose more, but matter of fact, I think I just have this piece from my original. I have very little from my original. I actually have the Gatling gun. I have the other guns. And I have this piece, or at least I had it. Or the other piece, the damaged one. So, here's the missile. You can see exactly where the blast effect is going to be coming out if they wanted to. You got the 4 fins there. Got the 4 fins right there. And once it hits, you're going to have maximum damage. Again, this thing is meant to take out a tank. Not air-to-air. Although, in your mind, it fought F-14s. It can't fight an F-14 Tomcat. Even though the F-14 is no longer... F-14 is no longer in service. It could still take out this in roughly 20 seconds. All right. You've seen the play features of the engines that are removable, the guns spinning, but one of the greatest things, and again, this might be one of those things that when you look back on and you go, hey, you know what? I always thought that was real. I think I had this on the wrong way. And that is, this thing needs a little bit of area to take off. Funny thing is, I watch these things turn around, and of all the planes that don't need the VTOL, it's this thing. Because this thing literally spins on a dime, all right? When it needs to turn, where I watch the fighter jets, they take a big, huge swooping turn. These things turn super quick. But this here, the wings are meant so they can rotate up, and they're on the same system, all right? And then you can obviously raise it straight up, just like a Harrier jet, or the F-35C, is it? I think it's F-35C. Not my favorite plane. But this thing kind of just goes straight up, and then you're able to move it like this. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why they moved the engines from here, or from over here, the dual engines, that's where the actual A-10's engines set. They moved it here. So now this, the engines are used to propel it straight up. Something that I don't think was really used too often in the cartoon. I know as a kid, we used it all the time, and it's a wonderful play feature. Now, the interior, which I almost forgot about, I'm going to do my best to see if we can get inside of it. We can pop this out. So, looking right here, you can see a little, man, oh man. You can see the seats there, all right? The way that it's set in, you can see where the stick is going to be. On the side, you got a little bit of the buttons on both sides. So a lot of detail that was put into it right there. Even on the inside here, I don't want to take that off. You can see the seat, and there is some detail right on the inside. I wish I had a better way to look at that. Unfortunately, it's not always the best. But a lot of detail is put into this. You know, again, you can see the damage right there. And kind of focus this. Put this thing back on here. And as for putting the figures in, here we have our Wild Weasel. I'm going to slide this guy directly into here and close it. Now, let's be honest. He's in charge of the Cobra Air Force. So he doesn't take damage. Maybe the other guys do. Maybe they take damage, but not Wild Weasel. I don't think I really use those too often. Probably why somewhere in my stuff, I still have the battle damaged one. I don't think I sold it. And then we're going to have a Cobra Trooper. We're going to fit him right in there. You got to spread his legs because there is a post right in the middle. And they will not fit in if they can't go around it. Which is always oh so much fun when you're trying to record this. Jeez, oh Pete's. Like his legs, I mean, I just had him in here. So he sits like that. I'm going to pop this bad boy right on here once again. Close that. And one of the coolest things that I always loved about all the vehicles that are like this is that you can see right through it. You can see Wild Weasel flying. You can see the Cobra Trooper gunning. Now again, as this turns, he does not turn, but this thing does turn a full 365. Although he can't see what he's shooting. As we know, Cobra doesn't hit anything, so it doesn't really matter. All right, and there is your Cobra Rattler review. Now, tell me a story that you had this and how you got it. All right, so there you go. That is the G.I. Joe classic review of the Cobra Rattler. And did you see the continuity error? Anyway, I'd like to say a big thank you once again to Aaron the Toy Enhancer. I don't know if I'd have this if it wasn't for him. These things, I think around that time they were going for well over $200 in this type of condition. So thank you very much. But anyway, did you have this? Was this something you always wanted? Tell me a story, because that's the best things to hear, right? This thing did so much for us. And again, I know a lot of people had it. And the fact if you still have one with the wheels, have them open or have them closed. I would not move them around. Again, I try and show you as much as possible when I do these reviews, but there is no way in hell that I was going to open and close any of these. I have a feeling they will never, ever be closed again. And again, if I ever move, I will somehow create something to make sure that they sit there in a good position so I don't have to worry about them, right? So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you very much. You guys spent a lot of time with me. Please take a second, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe classic review. But I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, I didn't see Wild Weasel. How can you do this and not show off Wild Weasel? Well, guess what? I did it. He's right up here, and down here will be a playlist of all the classic reviews that I've done. Take care.